Shout out to those brave individuals who are willing to look at the interesting and very diabolical violence that Islam has for those who would dare criticize it, and still look it in the face and say, you know what, we're still gonna expose you anyway, because like a man truly dies when he's forgotten. But anyways, guys, I never knew this, because as a Christian, you don't really look into other religions too deeply. It's more so, okay, is the doctrine consistent with the one true living God? But apparently in the Quran, they changed something interesting about who took care of Moses, and it's not Pharaoh's daughter, it's Pharaoh's wife. Now, it's surprising because I'm like, why would they change this? What is this about? And so I wanted to see what this clip was, because it got me thinking a little bit about how important it is that God's word demands you don't change it, or you will be held into question. You will not be held guiltless on the day of judgment. And so with that being said, let's talk about it, because this is an ex-Muslim and he's exposing the Quran's corruption. Let's see what he's got.
This one is one of my favorites, and if you've seen the Prince of Egypt movie, you might have caught this already. Who adopted Moses? Well, the Quran says in Surah 28 verse 9, Pharaoh's wife said to him, "This baby is a source of joy for me and you. Do not kill him, perhaps he may be useful to us, or we may adopt him as a son," because they were unaware of what was to come. This is fascinating now. We have Pharaoh's daughter being the one who adopted Moses, but in the Quran we have Pharaoh's wife. And now when a Muslim tells me my Bible is corrupted, I can't think for the life of me why that would be changed. And you know what's really fascinating?
Yeah, and that is interesting. That is interesting, because they believe the Bible is corrupted purely because it exposes Muhammad as like the biggest or dare I say most popular followed false prophet of all history. He's inconsistent with the worship of the sacrifice. He's inconsistent with the Passover. He's inconsistent with just the divine name. What is God's divine name? Yes, he is the God or the Allah, but what is his name? Because it's not an Arabic form of the God. It's actually something uniquely to him. Yodevave, aka so often translated as Yahweh, or more famously understood as the Tetragrammaton. It's like very substantial things: the worship, the sacrifice, the offering, the Passover. These things, and of course his name. These things are not just little seasonings of the meal. This is the entire religion itself.
Think about this. In the Dead Sea Scrolls, we have manuscripts from before the time of Jesus Christ that match what we read in our Bibles today. And Pharaoh's daughter is mentioned 6+ times in our Dead Sea Scrolls. This one is one of my favorites.
And so that's the entire clip. I would agree with him when it comes to, I don't know why they would change this. For those who don't know, this is Exodus chapter 2. You see, it starts off like this. Man from the house of Levi took as his wife a Levite woman. The woman conceived and bore a son, and when she saw that he was a fine child, she hid him 3 months. Well, as you know, fine in this instance is not our modern English. Oh, that's fine. No, like obviously this is talking about how the child is extremely healthy. It is a bouncing baby boy. It is well, like without any type of medical issues or any type of infirmities. That's something massive for that day and age. I mean, I know a lot of young women are frightening in their boots at the idea of getting pregnant because of the even small percent chance that it could threaten their life. Yes, it's a real thing. I've seen it with my own 2 eyes. But imagine back then, no hospitals, no medicines, no C-sections, just straight out the cut wherever you are giving birth. Of course, like this is something magnificent that when she saw this, she said, or that it said that when she hid him no longer, or when she could hide him no longer, she took for him a basket of bulrushes and daubed it with batum. I'm butchering this. I apologize. And pitch, And basically, this is like, so right now, like, for those that, like, if you've seen the Prince of Egypt, this is pretty much just the scene one for one, directly of just her hiding the baby. Why? Because the Egyptians are famously cutting off from life, and the most cleanest way I could say that, every child that is a male, from the at this point Israelites that are their slaves, diabolical. And it's said right here, um his sister stood at a distance to know what will be done with him. Now the daughter of Pharaoh came down to bathe at the river, while her young women walked beside her. She saw the basket, and sent her servant woman, took it. When she opened it and saw the child, and behold, the babe was crying, she took pity on him and said, "This is one of the Hebrew children." Then his sister said to Pharaoh's daughter, "Shall I go and call you a nurse from the Hebrew women to nurse the child for you?" And so it's interesting. Not only is the Quran interestingly articulating this differently, as if, quote unquote, they did not know the origin of this baby. And also, like, if you've seen the Prince of Egypt, they frame it as if it's like, oh, this child's a blessing from the gods. It's interesting how the Bible actually perfectly just examines this whole event and details it one for one, showing that people actually knew where this baby's origin was and what was going on here. And so this change for the Quran is a very strange, right? Very strange. And so naturally, the Pharaoh's daughter says to her, "Go." So the girl went and called the child's mother. Pharaoh's daughter said to her, "Take the child away and nurse him for me. I will give you your wages." And so it's interesting how, again, this event is completely different. Why does the Quran do this? I have no idea. But nevertheless, let's see what the people say. Somebody says it should be called the Quran. Quran. Play on words there. It gets so much wrong because Muhammad was confused. I've heard various things about Muhammad. He seemed to be somebody who possibly could have been good at trade, or just was around areas of trade where a lot of passerbys would tell stories, and give information from their culture. And so it seems that Muhammad, the reason, the way he portrays these biblical authors, these prophets, and in certain situations, in a sort of slight, like, very strangely worked around way of, like, rearranging events and putting it different things in different figures and different weird circumstances, both supernatural and natural. It seems to be that he was just a man hearing stories, because he's an illiterate person, meaning he does not know how to write and preserve information. And so, oh, actually, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't know how to read either. And so it's interesting. It's very interesting. Somebody says Allah is a demon. You can't change my mind. I mean, hey, what do you call somebody who changes the biblical narrative in such a way? Let's see. Somebody says, not only that, Allah also thought there were Samaritans in the time of Moses. He thought Amram, the father of Moses, was the father of Mary, the mother of Jesus, and the crucifixions took place in ancient Egypt, and Haman from Ether's time. So, like, the Quran is a very interestingly jumbled up book, and it seems to get a lot of things rearranged and confusing. If anything, I'm pretty sure with the Bible you can classify time periods and locations extremely easily, but with the Quran, it's you have to do a lot of guesswork, a lot of hearsay, and a lot of basic, because even just the arranging of these tales is not consistently in this, like, in, okay, this event happened after this happened after that, this happened after that. It's more so kind of rearranged in it, of sort of travels at different time periods during Muhammad's recitations, and that's interesting as well. But it seems that everybody's the same page. Islam, entire chains of narrations with their names and lineage. Christianity, Luke and Bob. Okay, so this is somebody who defends the Quran, though granted, I think they don't know the Bible, because there's a lot of genealogy. If anything, famously just one of like just multiple, I would say just multiple books start off with genealogy or are genealogy. I mean, Chronicles is famous for this, but let's see. So historical evidence and manuscripts match the Bible's account, but a certain that uncorrupted book even quotes his own nonsense. So everybody's basically having the same opinion. What do I think? Well, I think this famously is probably the biggest unfortunate or fortunate exposing of Muhammad, because first things first, the idea of changing up God's word, changing up his inspired text, God breathed, right? These are holy scriptures for a reason, not just for the events and doctrines, but specific key figures and information espoused that articulate this God a certain way. And so be careful, because Proverbs 30 verse 6, and I've added a few verses here just to highlight this, how dangerous it is changing up the word in any way. It says, do not add to his words, his being the Lord, lest he rebuke you and you be found a liar. It's very clear that God's here is posed as defending his word, someone who will actually avenge his word, who will hold you accountable, who will actually not find you guiltless, as I said before. If anything, this comes from Moses. I think he's the first one of the prophets to just outwardly say this and make it just plain. Deuteronomy chapter 4 verse 2, you shall not add to the word that I've commanded you, nor take from it, that you may keep the commandments of the Lord your God that I have commanded you. It's very clear that, and you notice this, like two things are referenced here: the commandments and the word. And so it's not just the book of the law, it's also do not change a single dot of the information that has been given to you. Why is that? Because naturally these inform you keeping the commandments, right? I mean, think about it this way: changing the idea of Pharaoh's wife finding the child, like from Pharaoh's daughter, and the information espoused there, which reveals that the Egyptians were very aware of the child's origin, sort of makes it seem like there's a possible bit of good in the Egyptian people, and the answer is no, it's not. Like, and so it may give the false impression of what actually happened there. In Job chapter 13 verses 7 through 9, in the midst of this back and forth between Job and those men after well, let's just say Job has taken absolute total annihilation of his previous standing. I'm talking he's gone through it. This exchange records this: will you speak falsely for God and speak deceitfully for him? Will you show partiality toward him? Will you plead the case for God? Will it be with you when he searches you out? Or will you deceive him, or can you deceive him as one deceives a man? The implication is very clear. Like, can you get far doing things your own way and doing things posing as the man of God? The implication, will you not be found out and exposed when he examines you? And naturally, that's the tragedy of the situation, because you can dissuade me, you can dissuade people, but you can't persuade God when he's laid down something so foundational. That's why you got to be careful. Famously in Revelations, towards the end of the book, in chapter 22 verse 18, it actually reiterates famous warnings. It says, I warn anyone who hears the words of the prophecy of this book. If anyone adds to them, God will add to him the plagues described in this book. This book obviously be Revelations, but again, just reiterating what Moses already declared. And obviously, when it comes to just when it comes to God's word, I wouldn't play with it. I would not play with it. I would just be humble and say, okay, what came before me is true completely. I can't disagree with that, and just keep moving forward with where we're at, from informed by what came before us. If anything, not even Jesus said he's coming to change or distort or throw away the word. He said it himself in Matthew chapter 5 verses 17 through 18. Do not think I have come to abolish the law or the prophets. Meaning, don't think they're irrelevant now. I have not come to abolish them, but to fulfill them. For truly I say to you, until heaven and earth pass away, not an iota or a dot will pass from the law until all is accomplished. And that's where we end off today, because that's kind of the theme of this video. You know, it's interesting how certain people will change certain things and think they can get away, and others will come behind them to defend those changes and even not really consider the depth of the problem here, because God's word is preserved by God, and naturally if it's not preserved by him, then we have a problem, because how can we trust what comes after if what come before is not in essence preserved in the themes, teachings, and individuals and events that have happened? We lose vital information at that point. But you know, as a Christian, I say, hey, Jesus confirmed the law, Jesus confirmed the prophets, and he confirmed everything from whether it's just the triune God, you know, the three persons. I mean, Genesis chapter 19 and 18 perfectly demonstrate that. Abraham worshipped the Trinity. Go read it. Genesis 18. He worshipped the Trinity. And so, with that being said, they case closed. Case closed. The true God his word has not been corrupted. Men cannot defeat it, and God has won. And so that's all I will say for this video. I think it's sad and I think it's confusing. But what do you think when it comes to the idea of changing God's word? This is sort of like a defend God's word day, and show that, yeah, this is a problem if you change that. What do you think? Do you think that Muhammad is cooking when it comes to changing God's word, or and altering it, or do you think that man was crazy? Either way, appreciate you for listening to me babble a little bit, because I just found this content interesting, and I just want to talk about it a little bit, because I'm like, really? He changed what now? Huh. Either way, God bless and stay blessed. See you guys in the next one. Take care.